is quite daft. Okay. We are up and running. What up here? Oh, great, my voice. My voice is brilliant today. Oh, there you go. I can't tell if that's two genuine viewers or if that's me technically doing from two different accounts. No, it isn't. I've got Hello War Guy. Hello. Okay, let's see if I can get this stream up on my other laptop so I can actually see the chat, because that seems like that'd be a good idea. And then I'd be able to do this in real time. Yeah. Hello, people who are watching this. I'm really not used to doing this, as you can probably tell. We're going to be starting in 15 minutes. This is basically just for, I don't know, to check so you guys can say, like, if stuff's working, if stuff isn't. I can adjust audio, because I don't know what I am doing at all. What would I... Okay. Hoping this is going to work. And hello, TC Gaming UK. You can see Bob. Yeah. I mean, I wasn't hugely planning on. Great. I can't even. I can't even find my own stream on another account. This is not going well. Ah, there we are. Okay. It's muted. This should mean I can see chat whilst I'm on here. Okay. And there's music. If you guys can let me know what the music's like. Is it too loud? Is it too quiet? Can you hear me? Yeah, if you can let me know that stuff, that would be brilliant. I mean, yeah, Vaiski isn't here yet, and won't be for 15 minutes, which is when we're meant to be starting. So, yeah, basically for the next 15 minutes, you've got me just rambling as I try and get stuff working. So, yeah, if you want to ask any questions or chat, that's about what this is going to be for the next 15 minutes. Sorry, it's 13 now. The timer is counting down. And so I'm going to see if I can log into Ninja Value on my other laptop so I can check chat a little more easily. Not very quickly. Okay. Let's another account. Very nearly got out my password. So types it in. It's going to say, I'm a pro at this sort of thing. Okay, so the stream today, the idea is it's going to be going on for about 3 hours. I think that's the plan. So yeah, I don't know if that's just gonna scare you all away. But this could be going on for ages. YouTube Studio. I really have no idea what I'm doing. This is so obvious now. Live. Okay. So watch that. I don't want to edit it. Go. Okay. I think this is working. I'm logged into the correct account. Okay. Cool. And now we'll see what the latency's like on the video. Yeah, that's as good, is it? Oh, I'm glad I'm watching chat. Because otherwise that's like 10-15 seconds latency. That's not brilliant. Occasional bit of buffering, but I'm honestly surprised it's working as well as it is, given you didn't see what happened when I tried to run this stream, but when I tried to test the stream earlier. I mean, for starters, I think I accidentally tested it publicly, but secondly, yeah, I managed to do it. I was going to say something. It's about testing the stream. God, I'm going to be so bad at this. You know, I accidentally... Oh, yeah, God, and it was awful. So I'm currently plugged in with an Ethernet cable, because, which I never do, but that seemed to be the only way of getting this to actually work. Ooh, they just love it when the stream drops people. I'm hoping they're going to tune back in at 11:15. Hoping I've not just lost those people. Actually, I can now post the link to the stream. So I'm a good boyo. Somewhere. Okay, you've got Vaiski still going on for a little while. I'm at this stage just gonna log in and I'm not going. I'm just gonna create a new character for this. Oh, Discord 6. That means 2 people have sent me messages, probably both from Vaiski, if I'd guess. Indeed it is. I'm getting tips from Vaiski on Discord. That's good. Okay, so yeah, okay. Let's get started. I would try and do some sort of feedback in creating a character. The only issue is with the latency as it is. Oh, that's not great. With the yeah. Okay, so I'm watching this on one screen at the moment. Yeah, and with the latency as it is, it's not brilliant. So my character's just given up and decided to auto-randomize itself in the time it took for the character for me to randomize the character on your screen. Okay. Yeah, if people want to put a name for this character in the chat, feel free to. Yeah, I have. Yeah. Because we've got. It's now what, 7 minutes until we start. 7 minutes until start. I know what I was going to do. I was going to post the link. No, I don't want. Okay. Okay, 5's a bit of an exaggeration. Minutes. Okay. Let's take up the entire chat for that. Okay. Okay, let's randomize character. Oh, I missed a guy. So yeah, this guy looks good. I'll go for him. If anyone wants to suggest a name, this probably isn't coming through in real time, so I don't know how useful that is. And I should just check. So there are apparently people listening to this. Can you hear me? Okay, now I'm going to do something that's stupid, but just so I can check audio. Okay, well, the stupid thing, i.e., potentially creating a feedback loop, was saved by latency, which is always great. Yeah, if anyone wants to suggest a name. Can you do spaces in the names? I'm assuming I can't. Yeah, okay. Letters A to Z, no spaces. At least one vowel. I didn't realise that was a thing. And then 3 characters. So Bob, so Mystery, or one word, that's a Bible name. Bob is a Bible name. I just go Bob. You know what, yeah, let's just create Bob. Yeah. Don't want to spin pieces there. I want to scroll through them very, very quickly. Oh. Is that Bob's Smile? I feel like that's a different one. No, probably was then. Okay. This is Bob's first time speedrunning. Oh god. What colour is Bob? It's... God, no. How can I not remember what Bob looks like? It's off my head. I don't know which colours it is. It's red and blue. That shade of blue. Okay, yeah. That's Bob. Okay, so yeah. For the moment, Vaiski and I won't be streaming on the same server. At some point, maybe we will. But for now, it's just not hugely practical. So basically, I'm going to have Vaiski's video up at the same time. At the same time, so I can see what's going on. The issue is this layout. Now I can't see chat at the same time as I see what's on screen. But I suppose I don't really need to see what's on screen, do I? Whereas Vaiski's, I just need to see what's on screen. So, oh, I need to mute this, don't I? You just sent a link. I hope you can't see that. If so, I've just doxed myself. Oh, yeah, I have doxed myself. That's always nice. Okay. Okay, I've got Vaiski's link. There we are. Oh, and I need to hop into a call with Vaiski, don't I? Oh, we're going to do something. No, I've lost my... Okay. Now let's go. Okay. Oh, okay. I'm into the call. Sorry. Oh, and of course, now we can need to balance audio between myself and Vaiski. Let me just send him a chat message. Oh, no, he's gone back to me. Okay. Okay, Vaiski should be joining us in the call in 1 second. Okay. And I've muted my audio in the call so you can't hear me, which is not a brilliant idea. To allow to access my microphone. Done. Mute. Okay. I should be audible. Yeah. Okay. So now we can return to Venture Explorer. And yeah, you're gonna have to let me know what you think about volume. Go down to see chat. Currently no one here. Let's see what to begin with. I don't know how many people are actually viewing. Can I view that? 2 people watching at the moment. We've significantly gone down since we started. Oh, hello! Hello, Vaiski.
Yeah, I think I have most things set up now.
On your stream, I can't see any video, but is that just because you haven't got an LU up yet?
Yeah, that's the last thing.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Ooh, getting quite a bit of lag. Ooh, nice. Okay, that's a little better. Yeah. I suppose, given this is partially a speedrunning stream, I should have started off with an Escape Venture Explorer speedrun. I didn't think about doing that. I wasn't that clever. So I've created a new character. I've created Bob for this stream.
Yeah, I just opened your stream on my segment monitor so I can see
Yeah.
what you're doing.
Yeah, I've got yours up on mine as well. And chat too. Yeah, I went with low latency. Turns out I should have gone with like minimal latency, judging by the delay. It's not brilliant, but fortunately, chat's fortunately or unfortunately, chat's not hugely active. Okay, I see you. I see your thing loading in.
Yeah, it's when I was still streaming on Twitch. The latency was a little big problem when someone asked something and you, even if you answer it like exactly, almost instantly, like it takes 2 minutes something for them to get it.
Right, this isn't that bad. This is like, I think 10 seconds, something like that. It's not brilliant, but at least it's not 2 minutes.
Yeah, 10 seconds isn't bad as long as you know what to like say. If you get stuck on something and then answer it, then be a kind of a problem. But otherwise, 10 seconds is actually pretty good.
I mean, I'm perfectly capable of lagging for 10 seconds, as I'm sure anyone who's watched my videos knows. I'm very, very good at talking nonsense. I found the mission tracker. Indeed.
So, do you have a plan or anything what we should do on this? Or should we... What should we start with, actually?
Okay, so I've just started with a completely new character, but I figure we can always do a little bit of monument investigation.
Yeah.
So I will be coming through to Avant Gardens in a second or two. For anyone who is in the chat, let us know. For want of a better word.
Also, I was yesterday speedrunning the monument again, and I found some more interesting slopes. So I think we could check if we can find them.
Stop it with the slopes.
Yeah. It's kind of scary. So how I can just jump at something and it works automatically. See, like it. I'm trying to currently like find other things that like could be used in LU speedrunning, because currently it's just like slopes.
Yeah, currently is 100% abusing slopes. So one of the things I was looking at the other day is the engine. The engine used to make LU is the same that's used to. Well, you were in chat at the time, actually. You know. Oh, hello, have I just broken this?
Hello.
I've just broken something.
Hi.
Hello, who is that? That's Prev. Hello, Prev. Okay, I've just crashed LU. this is a good start to the stream.
Well then.
That did not take me very long. That's good. Yeah, Prev, if you wanna like join in, I don't, you don't have a YouTube account, right? But if you want to like test stuff out alongside us, be my guest. Oh, and for those, my Ethernet cable hasn't been plugged in. It's me being certain I've got that up and running, and I haven't. Oh god! You can tell I'm good at this. Yeah, for those of you wondering, if you are in the OU speedrunning thing, why Preva's in the chat, it's because he has submitted a speedrun, and as the speedrunner tag, speedrunners can join the voice calls. So, speedrun things. Ooh, okay. Vaiski stream has gone down on my end. That's interesting. Not totally certain what's going on. Okay, I can't hear either of you. Does that mean my audio, I've just broken something? Okay, this is not great. Don't know what's going on. Okay, are we... Andrew's got a ton of latency. Okay. Let's try to reconnect to the voice chat. Okay, can you hear me now?
Loud and clear.
Yep.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I think when I plugged in the Ethernet cable, the network changed, just disconnected me from stuff. So I've just got to... It also doesn't like clip in properly, so it may just come undone. I hope it doesn't, but that may happen. That may be a thing. Woo. Hey.
Okay, so I seem to have found something just like as smashable that's not supposed to be here. I'm pretty sure at the monument.
Yeah, that smashable definitely is a thing. I'm never certain when it's meant to spawn and when it isn't. Okay. It turns out today
it's kind of it's kind of clipping the wall, so I'm just...
Now I definitely have seen, I think LCDR, you have seen that crop up. I have seen it crop up before. Certain about that. Okay, let's try and Uchu's not liking me today, evidently. What's the command? /world? Or is it test map? And let's event gardens, that'd be one error.
Okay, so the slope I found yesterday, I'm not really sure where it is, but it gave me a lot of speed. It was, you remember on the 6-hour stream when I hit the like thing before the monument start?
Yeah.
Before the monument starts slope, thing. There's the platform that I hit and got the speed boost.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I got like that amount of speed, but it was like just double jump into these slopes somewhere,
In
and
the
I don't know
is that
where
the
it is.
starting slope? Sorry, I can't quite see this latency.
Uh,
That's the
yeah, I mean in the start slope, the one where the speed run starts.
oh okay.
Um,
Hmm.
so
Requesting transfer to a bank garden.
I'm trying.
It's taking so long.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it as it could be like a 1 second boost if I manage to find it.
I mean, I'd happily take that. Um, we still have.
Oh yeah, what server are you playing on?
I'm on Uchi at the moment.
Oh,
It's not the most
okay.
recent version though. I don't remember why. It's basically whenever I updated Uchi last. But I appear to have broken it. I'm guessing this was the Ethernet cable plugging and unplugging that just killed it. I think. So I may have to restart the server, at the very least the world server. Or I just didn't like that. There we are. That should kick me out. Hopefully I can log back in. And
Okay, I think I found it now, but I still have to hit it.
oh,
And it
is it something there? So
yeah,
again,
it's one of these. Yeah, and just
that's very strange.
yeah,
Huh.
I might have like video of it, but it's in the middle of like 3 hours of
Hmm.
speedrun footage, so that would be fun to try to find.
Yeah. Okay. For those of you who've just tuned in, um, yeah. So what's going on is I've managed to break Uchu like 2 or 3 times already and disconnect an Ethernet cable from my computer. Meanwhile, Vaiski has managed to find a slope because Vaiski finds slopes now. That's what he does. Yeah. Um, I don't think Uchi's broken at the moment. I think it's working. It's just taking a little while to load, maybe, or maybe I'm just gonna restart Uchi because it hasn't actually started the world server and it really should have. So can you download the game? Go to lusprojects.github.io, and that will give you your answer. I will put the link in chat. There you are. Currently, we are playing on the Uchu server. The Uchu server is linked on. I say we're playing. Are you playing on that, Vaiski?
Yeah, I'm on Uchi too.
Yeah. Okay. So we're currently both playing on the Uchu server, which you'll be able to find on that link, and you'll be able to find setup instructions also on that link. Yeah. Enjoy. Okay. Let's get Uchu back up. let's unbreak everything.
Okay, another thing I just remembered was I was yesterday speedrunning too, and I decided to the stealth jump from the top. I decided not to use the jump I usually do from the very top, but the one that Pleb was using, and it seemed to give me more speed, even though it was like a smaller distance, or it was lower.
I
So
Yeah, I'm
I
interested to know at what point your speed starts to attenuate, because I don't think that I think air resistance is pretty high in Lego Universe. Like, I think you reach a terminal velocity quite quickly. So, like, if you start from a certain height, it doesn't actually get you much more.
yeah, I think these are the kind of things that could be like more easy to test on Happy Flower, as you could just make a test map
Yeah. I mean,
yeah, I've tried to. Yeah.
as long as you can spawn items in, you can always. Okay, I've got Uchi working again. Cool. I've unbroken it. Yeah, you could always go off the world and then spawn some objects. The only issue is, yeah, you can't get arbitrarily shaped terrain. You can only get pre-existing objects.
Yeah.
Okay. I just seriously confused the game. It just did the Avant Garden's landing thing as I landed in Adventure Explorer. that's good. And the hashtag wasn't meant to be there. Sayz or KZ. Don't know how you want me to pronounce that. Or KZ. Or CZ. I don't know. I think that's pretty much every permutation of how I could possibly pronounce it, but let me know if I missed it. No! No, stop doing this to me. I'm not going to make it to Avant Gardens at this rate. I
Couldn't
could
you
just...
use the word command if you
Yeah,
can't like...
I'm doing that now. There we are. Okay. It's loading. It's passing the LVLs. It's loading some triggers. This... Okay. Yep. That's interesting, because this wasn't a bug that used to be an issue. From memory.
Yeah, the version of Uchu I have now is like, I think the second newest or something, and I had Avant-Garde working correctly, so...
Yeah, I've got I don't know, as I said before, it's whenever I last updated it, which was quite a while back. I can, actually, whilst this loads, I can probably check somewhat. Can I get GitHub up? How do I not have GitHub on my my taskbar? Seems like an oversight on my part. Okay. I promise you, for anyone watching my stream, Avant Gardens is loading in. No, I don't want you to fetch Origin. I only fetch Origin because if you do that. Okay, so I'm currently on the Experimental A-Star branch, which no longer exists. So that should give you some idea of how outdated I am at the moment. Second. That's interesting.
I'm looking at your stream.
Oh god.
You still don't seem to be... Oh. There seems to be a bit of latency. If I just got to see the loading menu.
You just got to see the loading menu. Oh yeah, no, that is yeah. No, that is. I just managed to get through. I've just landed in Avant Gardens pretty much, and I'm still carrying my rocket. I quite like to not be carrying that rocket if I'm honest. I need to redo the physics trigger. So let know I've arrived. Go for the hearts. Okay, let's just make my way over to the monument. By the way, have you been speed running on this particular character?
Not on this exact one, because I accidentally yesterday deleted the one I use.
Okay, I was just wondering because you are allowed the level 20. I think it's level 20. I know Funky corrected me on that in the past, but you're allowed that speed boost for the monument speed run.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Wait, so did I beat my world record yesterday without the speed boost?
Oh, even more congratulations then. I don't. But although in fairness, you don't ever use your character's running speed because you're on slopes the entire time. I know I'm exaggerating slightly, but I doubt it would make too much difference. But I mean, it definitely would be faster because you definitely are under run speed for some of it at least. You love the game. C or KZ. I don't know how you want me to pronounce it still. Yeah, it's a very good game. I think Vaiski, can you second that it is a good game? Like,
It is a good game.
Vaiski said it, so it's true. Okay. Wait a second. So, I mean, there are a limited number of places you could... Oh. Could have got some there. I'm testing out the slopes. Because actually, I think of this terrain as flat and uninteresting, but there are quite a lot of slopes there, actually.
Yeah, like some slopes are like 1 or 2 degree, but even they, I think, give a little bit of speed. Because there's this slope here, I can show on stream. I'm gonna wave at it for the moment so it shows on stream.
Okay.
There is that point, and if you jump to it, you get from that speed, even though it's almost flat.
Yeah, I'm...
And
Oh yeah, I see. Yeah, that's roughly what I'm looking at. There's one particular set of vertices that looks pretty steep. It's along that line. There's one indentation. The ground like gets dark. I'm currently standing on it, and yeah, that's actually pretty steep. Oh god, why am I doing this? Why am I doing the monument speedrun in the same stream as Vaiski? Why would I do this to myself? This is not a clever thing to do. Because Vaiski's going to end up with what, like a 19.5 by the end of this, and I'm still not going to have made it up once. Yeah, so one of the other things I'm relatively interested in is how does speed work when you're going up a slope? Because I know in something like Roblox, you just get like a fixed amount of you get like a fixed amount of horizontal speed, and even if you're going up a really steep slope, you maintain a constant horizontal speed. I'm wondering if Lego Universe does the same thing as long as you're not, as long as you don't enter the slipping mode.
okay, I just found a new slope.
Ooh, okay.
It's going to happen in my stream right now. That seems to give the best. You can get to the mountain slope that gives the big boost from there. So that would mean that could be implemented really well if I can figure out how I just did that.
The upside of doing all this on stream. I suppose also technically there is one extra speed boost we haven't ever thought about, which is the moving platform or stuff. So technically that isn't allowed in this speed run because it's got to be achievable on all servers, and like moving platforms you can't do on Uni. But I wonder if you could time falling precisely so you got crushed by the moving platform. I wonder how the game would handle that. Because at that stage, they won't, the moving platform itself will just have a fixed position. And you're just a capture. So like the moving platform won't react to your position. So the only way the game can sort of resolve the collision is by moving you out of the way. I wonder if you could actually get a pretty good downward speed boost if the top of your player character got clipped by a moving platform, because it's applying effectively infinite force, as the game would see it. I'd be interested to know how it would resolve that. I wonder if I can test that out, actually. Okay. Oh no, I don't have... Uchi doesn't have the glide jetpack. I don't have the skill for the jetpack to test this out. Okay. Here we are. Nope, we're not there. But yeah, and the other thing is the moving platform does set your speed to to the speed you're moving on it plus its speed. So potentially, if any map which has moving things, you might be able to abuse that. Don't know how that would work in this thing, because this thing, the second you're on the moving platform, you're already past the start line. But that definitely does give you a speed boost compared to when you land. Oh, that one's got potential anyway. Okay.
I'm still kind of wondering what I should look at the map to find slopes at, because some parts are definitely like optimized as much as they can, but I feel like some parts are not like even touched yet.
Yeah, like the ends. I know I've seen your diagram. You sent to. I think it was Prev you were sending it to Mabadenkri, or yeah.
Yeah, it was perhaps, I
uh,
think.
About the ends, but that's primarily just which jumps you can make. Have you ever actually gotten slide speed much on the end, or have you incorporated that into a
No,
route?
I've just I haven't gotten any, and I have always just used single jumps and double jumps with the animation skip, which was what I used for my newest speedrun, which I think saved some time in it, the end, well, at least part of the end.
Because there definitely are some slopes you could potentially get speed with. The question is, can you get to those slopes more efficiently than just running straight? I don't know if you can. Because I think the setup would take more time than you would actually save.
I maybe found something. I have to test it out. Like if you jump on the top of the rock big's nose, you
Yeah.
can. I think you can get some kind of boost.
Yeah, I've just been looking at that. How close does your route get to there? Your normal runner?
I'm not sure. It kind of depends on the. Why did my stream go offline?
You did cut out for a second on
Oh,
Discord, but you're back
oh,
now.
yeah, it's back. Okay, I got kind of scared what happened.
Okay.
So, yeah, it depends on if how much bounce I get, because sometimes that gives like the really big speed, like I got on the 20.22, I think. But now on the latest one, I didn't get speed, but I got like still the same amount forward. So
Yeah.
I think it's like about 4 mini figs from the start of the jumping approx all day. Like I think I can show it on stream, like where I am right now. About here, it gets, and just from here, it usually just kind of I know what I should do, and I just hope for the best.
Fair. Okay.
Also, I did get some speed when I showed that, and I think it was from some slope. Oh.
The true pro speedrunner move that I've got to throw out there is, the bridge you have to rebuild to get to the monument.
Yeah.
if you go up to, it is possible to, and you know, like the supports that are already there sticking out upwards out of the ground. It is possible. It is possible to land on those, and it is technically possible to get speed off of all of them. You'd have to be uber precise, but it is possible.
Yeah, like that. I was trying that at some point. I didn't notice I get speed from them, but you do. Like it is possible to like go beat them like with double jumps. Maybe skip one, and maybe if the Shulk Bite 3 speedrun becomes reality again, use it.
I mean, would that even make that much difference? Like, okay, no. I still,
Okay,
I refuse to accept the Shark Bite 3 speedrun. Funky's gonna keep trying to push it, but I refuse. Oh, I forgot we've got... Despite the fact I've already discussed I'm using the experimental A-star version, I actually forgot we have AI.
oh
And so a strongly moving just freaks the heck out of me.
yeah, I found something pretty interesting on the top of the monument or on the road, as you can jump on the little orange part of the road, and it seems to give you way too much speed on the slope. It's
Oh,
the same thing that I used on Nimbus Station at the foot race, but I'm I'm trying to find why it gives so much speed. As if this can give so much speed, why can't like some of the really small rocks down give the same amount of speed?
I wonder if it's... I mean, partially... So lots of the small rocks, they don't actually have collisions and hitbox, or they don't have any like complicated collisions and hitboxes. Like you can stand in them and it doesn't actually affect the physics.
Yeah.
With that, do you know what? No, actually, that's fine.
I wonder if the reason you can get so much speed off the road is it's not because the slope is really high, but just because it's one piece of slope, like the whole thing, and maybe it means like it counts like the whole thing, and not just like how could I explain it? Like it doesn't only look how like high a specific uh, slope is. It always thinks the same about the width of the slope. As this, this feels kind of same as some of the really long slopes on the speed, and it is kind of the same width. So I'm wondering if it does do something like that that doesn't really make sense, but might have been like easy to make.
I'm not 100% certain. I totally follow. I've got to admit.
Yeah, I didn't fully understand what I meant myself, but I know in my head what I was talking about. Basically, I was meaning like if the slope on top of the monument gives the same amount of speed as some of the really big slopes, like on the each jumps, there is the really long slope. If they give the same, because they basically are as big, but like on different shapes.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm
That's yeah.
part of it is, yeah. Like, so if something is too small, then okay, let's just wait a second. Let's check. Oh, is Avant Garden's loading, or have I just broken this again? I may have just broken it. Because this does not look like it's loading. That's a shame. Okay, so we're reloading it. I've actually forgotten what I was saying. Because I broke Uchu again. Yeah, I should just actually update to a more recent version. Let me do that quickly. actually no. Let's just keep going with. Let's keep going with the one we have. It just means I won't be able to do the hardcore LU.
Also, something I've been thinking of is that even if you jump, like you don't move, you only jump. It seems to move you just a little bit on a specific direction you are looking at.
Yeah, it definitely does. There's jumping, or and also landing as I mean, landing's obvious because that just gives you slope speed from wherever you are. One interesting thing though is double jumping, double jump attacking versus jumping. Because double jump attacking, because you've got the attack animation when you land. I think I might be wrong, but I'm fairly certain that actually cancels slope speed, which isn't useful for this, but might be quite useful for some harder parkour type challenges. Because, like, you know the imagination brick challenge?
Yeah.
Like that there. Like, I don't think, as of right now, that you can get any closer than that particular bit of rock sticking upwards, but the only way I could come up with to actually get you to that particular bit of rock, I'm an idiot. I just closed down the server. I just wasn't thinking. I literally just hit X. Why did I do that? Oh god. Someone send help. Ninja's broken.
Okay, so if you do the double jump and attack, it does seem to stop your character midair, even if you are using like a slope speed.
Yeah.
So
I'm thinking, I don't know how many uses that has for speedrunning, but for precision stuff, that could actually be quite useful.
yeah, so I guess in the future we might have some kind of parkour LU maps where you have to first hit the slope and after that manage to aim when to double jump, attack, and stuff like that.
Yeah, I can see stuff like that working. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's reload this again. And let's hopefully not break it again this time. I'm just going to go with... Just going to do a bit of... as part of me pushing the publicity for hardcore LU. I think I'm going to do a little bit of spidling fighting.
I should actually go to Nimbus Station for a bit.
And test out the foot race.
Yeah. It's the same idea as going for a short walk and coming back, as it kind of resets the thing where I think the monument when I just come back after some time.
Yeah, I know.
So maybe when I come back, I just find new slopes.
I know what you mean. Did you ever play Bop It as a kid? It probably would have been called for something different and finished. Yeah.
Wait, how is it named? I can look it.
Let me just put it in the chat. Or my computer won't let me put it in the chat. Maybe. Okay. But yeah, that was a game, and it's sort of you've got to input a series of things, like it will tell you to do something, you have to do it, and it gets faster and faster. And I always found 100% of the time that I got worse as I repeatedly did it over the course of a day. Like I would come not having done it in months and would complete it in one go. And then I would just fail it. And then if I tried it again, I'd lose after one. I actually be quite interested to try that again at some point. Hashtag stream ideas.
Yeah, the game didn't click, but yeah, I haven't played it as a kid or anything. I just know it because of the internet and challenges. But yeah, would be interesting to see, like, you do it on stream. um, I mean, it feels like something that would happen if it was like a 12-hour stream at some point.
Yeah, eventually I'd break down and
Yeah.
eventually I'd break down, just do bop it. Are you looking at getting speed from the lampposts?
No, I'm just thinking if it's possible to jump through the whole ring without touching the floor.
Oh, I did.
Which
Yeah,
is,
maybe doing individual world, not touching the floor challenges might actually be quite interesting because it's not possible to go through the entire game without touching the floor. But it may well be possible to go through a complete world. Because yeah, you get pretty much stuck the second you reach Avant Gardens.
what would be the rules of like don't touch the ground? Like what is sculpted ground? Like if it's made of Lego, does it mean it's not the ground or
Yeah,
everything that hits ground?
I don't know. I did. I remember I began to get looser and looser with the definitions as time went on. So but like I think rocks, etc., rocks, trees, it wouldn't count as ground. I can't remember though if rocks are their own objects, or if all rocks are, or if some of them are built in as part of the terrain. Because I know like mountains, etc., are. I think you'd have to have like some very specific rules about, so in Avant Gardens, for instance, about saying anything that's green counts as the ground, or like anything with the specific texture. I think you'd have to do it that way because there are definitely enough rocks that wouldn't. And the other problem is certain missions as well will teleport you into place, and certain quick builds you need to use will also move you into place. What's that? Talk to me. Okay, let's do a little bit of hardcore LU.
Oh wow! I just found the smallest slope that gives a little bit of speed. So I'm thinking if this could be used in some way, like if the speedrun follows a specific route, if I could like multiple times jump on a specific road or move along a specific way, but I hit like all the time just slopes, which does seem possible in Nimbus Station, but I don't know how fast it would be.
Yeah, it would be nice if we could actually load the physics files. Like I know that that Darwin etc. can, but like he's not allowed to like give us the program, and like yeah, it would be quite interesting to take a look at that.
I think if the not touching the ground challenge, I think one thing that maybe should be on it would be like you can touch the ground, but like the maximum is like 3 seconds, and then you have to hit something that's not the ground again. As like, I feel like that might be like the only way you could get the full game, because 30 seconds is a long time if you know how to use it, right?
Yeah, I feel like if you do that though, at some point it does become too easy. Like
Yeah.
I don't necessarily mean easy, you know what I mean, but
Yeah.
like at some point, like some precision parts would be instantly like would become so easy with the you're allowed to do it 3 times. I think it's one of those things where you'd have to have the speed run for a modded map.
Yeah. Or another thing could be that we should need a little bit more people. People should have tried again and tell their opinion of what felt like too easy or too hard, and change the options a bit, then ask again and stuff. To
Yeah.
see like what people's options are on specific rules, because I feel like that's the best way it could be done, so that it isn't easy, but it also isn't like fully impossible some parts.
And there's me just losing the 0 death streak for Bob. RIP.
Yeah.
Me, okay, let's see. I suppose what you could do, rather than saying you can't touch the ground at all, do a minimum touching the ground. So it wouldn't be a speed run or anything. You just have the challenge would be to touch the ground for as little time as possible. And then you could...
Oh, that's actually a good idea. If it's counted in the end, how many seconds you touch the ground is like basically golf rules. That and the less you have, the better. That could actually work.
The only issue... Ooh. Yeah, now I'm looking at not touching the ground, and I'm wondering if I can get past this bit. The only issue is then how do you define when the challenge starts and ends? Because you can't really any percent it, because there's no defined end. You could do, I don't know, something like smashing butterscotch. You could manage. I feel like smashing butterscotch, how far can you get without touching the ground? Also, you know, how little can you do it? How little can you touch the ground? You know what I mean. That might actually be quite a good challenge. Okay, so I think it is just about possible to actually... Okay, so missions are glitchy at the moment, but you can make it to Wispley without touching the ground. Well, no. I don't remember how much of... You've got a problem when it comes to building your rocket in the Venture Explorer. Smashing Frank Jaw and Butterscotch. That's not a bad idea, Frankie, yeah. Frank Jaw, though? I don't know. Frank Jaw, people seem to think Frank Jaw's... I don't know, I never really would have used Frank Jaw as a measure of success. I suppose it forces you to go to Ninjago and do Ninjago side of things. But I also don't remember how difficult it was. I've utterly forgot what I'm trying to do without touching the ground, and now I'm just running everywhere. But I mean, or there could be some sort of you've got to get this selection. I suppose you could 100% achievements. You could do that. And if I say that, Funky's just instantly going to be thinking, "Ooh, Shark Bite." That includes Shark Bite 3.
Yeah, it's ultimate achievements minus every achievement except Shark Bite 3 challenge.
Yeah.
If kind of a name change would work.
Hardcore LU 100% mode. It's going to be pretty difficult. You gotta...
Yeah.
Can't tell you. That is true. I don't know. People have discussed bringing back the draw box in some way, shape, or form. But yeah, okay. I think that's a good point. We probably can't 100% all achievements because it's not just draw box. It's like beta testing shirt. But we could effectively 100% all of them. And we could just have like the 97% speedrun or whatever it was. The only issue is it would be impossible to have an any percent category like that. Oh, no, okay, I suppose any percent up to smashing butterscotch would work. That would be fine. Yeah, I feel like actually, how far can you get without touching the ground? That might be quite a good challenge, because you can do that on stuff like on Woollis and upwards. You can pretty much do it if you're willing to wait a bit of time. You can pretty much do that on the uni.
I was thinking of the touch the ground as little as possible. That feels like that actually can be also a good challenge in that basically in the end it would turn mostly into not touching the ground, as like if it's basically only time is counted when you hit like running on the ground would mean basically it would be a start for the don't touch the ground at all. If yeah, basically,
I think
which is a political challenge, I think.
I think the one issue is how do you count running and jumping along the ground, because it will be because like I don't know. Do you count the time between like successive jumps landing on the ground? So if I have more than one jump, no, because that's still a little bit.
Yeah,
It would. I don't know. I think you could definitely get that. And yes, Funky. Okay, I get there are achievements we can't do. He's just posting achievements in my chat. It's just you can't 100% achievements without the Nexus Jawbox. There's also the one for getting a high property ranking. That would be a very long-term speed run. How well can you build a property without getting without ever touching the ground? I support this. Oh, stop doing damage to me. I really should go to a version of Uchu that doesn't have enemies or something like that. We need like Minecraft as peaceful mode. I need that, but for LU.
yeah, I feel like that would be actually nice to some point.
I see. Okay, so it's possible to get.
I feel like there would be I wish there would be like another game mode we could use as like one thing I wanted done. I think it's still broken in Uchu is the no clip. Like that would be really useful. I think not only for speedrunning but getting screenshots and stuff can be used like without the hood.
I feel like it's possible to jump on top of this little branch here.
Where is that? I can find a way.
I'm gonna do my usual check, which is to see if the player shadow at any point is able to rest on it, because that's calculated by physics. Well, I'm sure one of the devs could clarify on that, but I've been using that as a standard for a while now, that player shadows follow physics. I feel like there's some part there you could manage it. Anyway, fly off.
It does seem to push like if you look from like the side and look at it, it just seems to go up like invisible wall.
Yeah. I want to catch you.
Which
I'm also quite interested in how. So the game seems to determine when you're on a slope past a certain angle, then you enter a slide, right? However,
I think so, yeah.
what happens if you are, because the player is shaped like a capsule, right? Which means the bottom part of it is a sphere. So what actually happens? You can't jump over the top. Trust me, I've spent hours trying. Actually, I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say that because that's the one way of guaranteeing that you can. So I take that back. But no. So, yeah, the question is, yeah, what happens when they're either side? Because simultaneously, you may be touching two slopes which are steeper than you're able to walk on, but actually physically that would be a perfectly stable position to be. I wonder how Game Player would handle that. Ouch. Stop hitting me. I need LU peaceful mode.
Oh, someone just commented on your chat that they can't wait until this is open.
Oh, can't wait for this to be open. This is open. This
Yeah.
is open, Daniel Cunningham. You can you'll see the link I posted to KZ. That's you can download, if you follow the links from that page, you can download Uchu, which is the server Vaiski and I are both playing right now. And yeah, it's not the most feature complete thing ever, which is why we're doing what we're doing, i.e. trying to make it really difficult, because that's a good thing to do for some reason, and sort of just analysing the physics of it. But the server we're on, that's open.
That's one thing I'm thinking, that in your second latest video, the Halcott LU was, I think, one person asking that they can't wait like until it's open so they can try it or something. And I'm still thinking, well, does the thing that everyone thinks that like everything is closed or something?
I think it's a DLU sort of thing. I think it's the one server that's the first server everyone hears about is DLU, and so they automatically assume that nothing but DLU. And then maybe the second server you hear about, I suppose, is LCDRU, and of course that's closed as well. So I can see where it comes from, but because Uchu isn't that well publicized outside of pretty much our videos.
Yeah. Well, it does kind of make sense though to think that there would only be like one project, because when you join the community and think there's one, like a game from like 8 years ago that closed, and you find there is a project, I don't
Yeah,
think
you're quite
many people would think that there are many people
that
doing
is
different.
that is true. You're quite surprised to find there's even one.
Yeah.
I still remember the days of finding out that LCDRU existed, because of course loads of you people have been around since everyone knew about LCDRU. I didn't. I remember those days when he was just slowly releasing stuff to his YouTube channel, and nobody knew that much. I think people who'd been in the community a while knew who he was. I don't know actually if he was active in hashtag development at that point. But yeah, I remember that. Those were the days of having no idea who this LCDR guy was, and it's just like, other than the fact that he used to be big on the forums, those were the days. So it was like, wait, there might be more than one project happening now.
Yeah, that's one thing I really wish, like, when I started studying English, I would have paid attention, because if I would have been like a part of this community like 3 years ago, I think, to tell you 4, if I would have known how to speak English or write English to some level. And I'm just thinking who my speedruns would be if I would have started 4 years ago.
I mean, in fairness, like, well, I'm just thinking 3 years. That's pretty much as long as I've been here. But yeah, I can't help. I don't know. I can't help but feel it's. I don't know. I knew about Lego Universe restoration projects for a lot longer than I've been active. Like, I feel you need some sort of incentive to become active, and like it took quite a while for servers to get complete enough that I sort of found mine. Okay, land there. There we are. Yeah, I think that the minimum jump time, actually, this could be quite a good challenge. No, I fell. Oh, sorry, not the minimum jump time, the minimum walking on ground time. Because there's lots of stuff, because that sort of combines the challenge about getting speed off of objects, but like across the entire map. I really like this as an idea.
Yeah.
And
I think the thing that makes it like, because it has the same idea as the speed run. Like the less you get, the better.
Yeah,
But this case, it can be like you can take a 30-minute break in avant-garde and it doesn't like mean anything for the run.
yeah, yeah. Agreed.
Yeah,
And
and like
I feel you can also maybe recover a little bit easier because if you, I don't know, maybe that's a false economy, but I just feel as though it's not like a speed run where maybe a single death or a single fall can end the run completely. It feels like this: you may touch the ground once, but as long as your reflexes are fast enough, that can save you, and you can just jump back onto wherever you were. Like, I'm sure certain places would have difficult things that would kick people out, but I feel it might be a more entry level friendly project sort of thingy. I don't know. So where can we go from here? Actually, I've sort of just, this is what happens the second I start talking. I just start running about randomly and utterly forget the fact that I'm trying to do a challenge. Okay, so
yeah, I did the same. I was doing the same jumps again and again behind the monument.
from here to, can we get onto the back of that?
Yeah.
Yes, I can. Can we get up? I think that's walkable. Yeah, okay, so this might be a feasible challenge. So we need to do it in some way. We couldn't have it quest chain oriented because that then precludes people on like previous versions. Because like, I mean, this is sort of like the monument speedrun, I suppose, in the fact that yeah, in theory, you don't need anything. You don't need that good a server
Yeah.
to run it. So you can definitely jump off
I
of
think
there.
if it would become a challenge, I think it would be like it would have a lot of like subcategories. Like the challenge on VE and HE would be different, like not the same run, because that would mean that kind of like what Ian Angry had, that he focused more on the uh, VE run and I on the monument.
Yeah,
And yeah, I think that would have to happen, because then people who would be on like Vilas and stuff, they couldn't do the VE pilots, but they could still have a chance to like try the HE one.
yeah. I think there's something to be said for multi-parting the challenges anyway. But I also think what it could be worthwhile doing is um, well, rather than having it in any way mission related, have it you need to get to say to where Butterscorch is, because you can't actually defeat Butterscorch or any things, and but you can just change worlds when you reach a launch pad or something. And so you do the run sequentially. The only issue is that it might be a little bit. It might end up getting quite difficult to like mediate those runs and sort of prove you've done a single continuous run if you're having to like teleport between worlds and like fly back up. There's a reason I don't speak that
Yeah.
stupid monument anymore.
Well, when we think about like speedruns that would have missions, I guess there would one way to do those would be that you actually don't have to accept the missions. You have to just replicate what would happen in the missions. Like if you would
Yeah,
have to do the Epsilon mission of beating 15 Stormlings, then you just basically would go to spots where they would be hit once and move on like that.
I feel that
That could be.
I
It
feel
would
that's
mean that it wouldn't be perfectly timed though, because
yeah, I feel that's one
yeah,
of those things that's possible, but also would have a room for a lot of cheese because you could sort of say, "Oh yeah, this pretty much worked," um, and like no one would be able to tell whether how the enemies would have spawned had you actually done it properly. Um,
yeah.
Okay, so like AG you could do. I'm genuinely. This is actually a really fun challenge for me because, like, yeah, it's sort of the whole minimum touching the ground thing because it's one that doesn't require me to have good reflexes. I just need to come up with clever parkour routes, or not even clever parkour routes, just come up with some parkour routes.
I also have not yet picked up this halt flag up here that I always look at. And I don't think I want to pick it up anymore, just as
Just
it's a good reminder
yeah.
to not pick it up.
Oh, okay. Interesting. This is really interesting. So I'm currently standing in a spot between a tree, in the Avant Gardens area. Oh, sorry, Daniel. I haven't seen your message.
Yeah,
I'll get to you in a second.
You.
Sorry. No, so I'm just standing between this tree and this dustbin, and I can currently... I'm standing, I'm not entering slipping mode. Now, those are two completely distinct hitboxes. If I smashed one of them, I would slip. So what that means is it is technically possible to get between two objects, or to get on three slopes, none of which are individually standable, and to be able to sort of stand in between all of them completely stably without entering slip mode. That's actually interesting. Okay, Daniel Cunningham, which LU project is the most promising in your opinion? That's tough. It depends what you mean by most promising. That is, yeah, as questions go, there could not be a more loaded question to ask in the LU community. Yeah, it sort of depends what you mean. So, like, in terms of which project do I think will perhaps release first, or which project do I think people will get the most enjoyment out of, like, over the coming years? Because obviously, any project that releases first, over the coming years you'd get more enjoyment out of. But like better projects, you'd get more enjoyment. I don't know. That's genuinely really difficult. So sort of this is where the project stands in my mind. We've got which one will release first? That's an far easier question. Uchu. Yeah, because Uchu's already out there. I'm assuming when you say that you mean which one will get a complete game out first. I don't know. So the thing is, quite recent, until pretty recently, I would have said LCDRU. Uh-oh. I'm an idiot. I've just tried to go to Nimbus Station, but I don't have enough free slots on my... I shouldn't have enough free slots on my server. How's it letting me go there? I don't have an open port. Why are you letting me... Okay. Anyway, we'll see what happens.
It happened to me too.
We'll see what happens. I will just continue to shout at my computer later. Which one will release first? Yeah, until recently, I would have said LCDRU, because unlike DLU, LCDR has just sort of been working. It's never really put itself under any undue pressure. Yeah, that would have been a solid bet from me. However, recently, what started to happen is that would have been had you asked me a couple of months back. However, LCDRU at the moment has been working on some more sort of just different topics. So, for instance, LCDR's done a lot of stuff with security, etc., like the single sign-on server, which he recently published and which now we've got compatibility for with Uchu. And it's one of those things that it's development, but because it's development anyone can use, does that really count as part of LCDRU? I mean, LCDR will be using it in LCDRU, but he's putting time into making sure anyone can use it, which obviously is going to take longer because you're trying to make it compatible for more different things. And so given that, I don't know if LCDRU still is my best bet. Same with Uchu. So, not quite the same, but with Uchu, the thing is we've got Am I loading? I can't tell if I'm... Yeah, I think this has just broken. Okay, let's reload Uchu. Yeah, so the thing with Uchu is that yeah, it's really high. Uchu, basically, we've got Vincent is the one active dev on Uchu, but he's impossible to predict. He could just as easily update the README or add scripting or something that doesn't actually like change gameplay but makes it easier for developers to work with, or like implementing LCDR's single sign-on server thing, as implement AI. He could do anything, and it's impossible to predict. I think the way he works, I don't think we will get a complete game from Uchu at any point, because he will just do what's interesting. And if implementing the next mission on the mission chain isn't what particularly catches his interest, he probably won't do it, because this is just his spare time. In that regard, we're coming up to DLU. DLU are not crooks. They're the servers who are most focused at the moment on their own servers. And sort of... Yeah, and sort of... They've put the most towards them, like... Simon from Op Crooks recently, for some reason, I'm not totally certain why, started advertising Op Crooks. It seemed very, very strange, because, like, Op Crooks is not going to be out for quite a while. But, yeah, I don't know. DLU or Op Crooks are my best bets at the moment, and honestly, with the number of rewrites DLU have gone through, they're probably at their server is currently at a similar state to Op Crooks. The only thing is that DLU are further ahead in terms of knowledge. They do know things that Op Crooks don't. In regards to they were teasing an open beta, but it still hasn't come out. So I don't think they've never put a firm timeline on when they're going to do open beta. They've put a firm timeline on closed beta, and it's very, very, like, it's a technicality that closed beta has happened. Like, the winter testing technically counts as closed beta, and that is them getting out of the promise they made to that they would release closed beta. Closed beta, for all intents and purposes, hasn't begun yet, and what DLU realised is they promised way too much way too early, and I don't think they're going to do that again. Sorry, I should also start loading up Uchu again. Master.dll. Yeah. I don't. They're not going to make that mistake twice. I'd say they've got at least a year or so before open beta. I think closed beta definitely won't happen within the next 6 months from DLU. Probably won't happen within the next year. Yeah, I don't know. It's genuinely, like, in the past, I would have found that so easy to predict. I would have had, like, I just see Vaiski's stream, I just see a floating platform just leaving him behind.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the past, it would have been so easy to predict. I could have answered that easily. But the development landscape has just changed so much. Like, LCDR is no longer solely working on LCDRU. And that's just strange. Like, he's doing a lot more open source stuff. Yeah, I have no idea. I think in terms of what will happen for the community, I think what's most likely is that we're gonna hopefully something like the speedrun or the challenge thing, that's gonna build up into, like, more of a community. Because yeah, I have no idea when we're going to end up getting some proper closed a proper complete game. But the thing is, and that's sort of why we're doing this stream today, you don't need to have a complete game to still have a decent amount of fun on a server. And so like I think we will have large things happening for the community, which will be a lot of fun, a long time before we have a fully public server. And if I had to guess which server will be running that, my main and sort of like powering that, my main guess would be Uchu. Rain really wants to push LUJS. I honestly don't see that happening. See that becoming a major server, if I'm honest. I feel like if we're going to have a big server that comes out, it's going to be Uchu. And that could be a lot of fun. It's quite honestly a question at the moment. It's a question of is there anyone in the community experienced enough and with enough technical knowledge to host it, and with the desire to host it and run it, etc. Okay, spawned into Nimber Station. How far can we go without touching the ground? I'm gonna try something.
So I just seem to somehow fall under the floor in Uchu.
Fall under the...
I seem to have hit some moving platform at some moment.
Oh, it's the moving platform glitch.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, so that's another interesting thing about LU speedrunning. The question is, how are we going to deal with like server side bugs? Because technically there will be bugs like the moving platform bug that is possible to trigger. Do we include them in speedruns or not?
I think there should be, like in normal speedrunning, there are like the different categories. Like we have the escape VE, like the any and all.
Yeah.
I think there should be, for example, the one category added. It would be like I don't know how we would name it. Would basically everything allowed that was everything allowed that doesn't like, I don't know how it should be worded, like anything basically a normal player can do. Like you can't use commands, but you can glitch.
The only issue is what's defined as a glitch, because there are lots of things.
Yeah,
it just depends. What a glitch is depends on what the server is.
I think like it's hard to explain everything that is allowed. It's a lot easier if you just name things that aren't allowed. Like for example, you can't use any like chat commands to use cheats, but you can still like go out of bounds if that's able, if that's possible to do with just like a speed signal in hands or something like that.
The problem is that going out of bounds, that's pretty much okay. Aside from like requiring a quicksicle, that's pretty much engine independent, pretty much server independent, because it's all to do with the LU physics engine. It will be a lot harder, I feel, to have that same challenge, to be able to say a similar thing for stuff like abusing moving platforms. Because what if originally LU allowed a particular type of platform abuse, but a particular server patches that out? You then need to specify precisely whether or not that glitch is allowed, and like which server version you need to use. I mean, saying which server version you need to use isn't a bad thing in general, I'd say, but it's something that you definitely need to think quite carefully about.
Yeah, I think in case if you would want like a speedrun or challenge where you can use glitches, it should be like we should try to find the most like a buggy server possible. Maybe some abandoned one, but it should just at least get like the player select or make it like the only thing has to be that it can get into avant gardens and you can walk. Basically, after that, like glitches, more glitches the better, because people can get more creative on what to do.
Hey, I'm updating my configuration file so I can use more world ports, because otherwise this is going to get on my nerves a little bit. So we'll have to reload Uchu for it to take effect, but I'd need to reload it at some point anyway when I go to the next place. So you can definitely... Nimbus Station is far less interesting, but you can definitely get around Nimbus Station without touching the ground pretty easily. Or not completely without touching the ground, but...
Also, someone commented on your stream
about
the physics engine.
Physics engine. Difficult question. Physics engine not standing across all servers. Parts are, parts aren't. So for stuff like... Oh, that's a really difficult question. Okay, so for stuff like moving platforms, there are things you've got to send between the server and the client for moving platforms to work. So that's the cause, I'm pretty certain, of the falling beneath the floor glitch in Uchu. You've got some packets which are sent when you're meant to go onto a moving platform, which don't get sent. There are things like checks about physics that the server should perform that it doesn't necessarily have to perform. So, like, you will by default use a physics engine. You'll by default have a physics engine within the game, but the server also needs to be able to do some physics. And so whether or not something is standard across all servers does depend on which particular aspect of physics you're looking at. If that answers the question somewhat. So stuff like with moving platforms, that wouldn't necessarily be the same across all servers. That could be potentially quite buggy. Whereas stuff like sliding and stuff like gaining slope speed, that will almost certainly be standard across all servers. The only way it really couldn't be standard across all servers is if one server added a speed limit of what a character could naturally travel at to sort of test for people using a cheaty CD client for hacks. For hacks in inverted commas, I should clarify. That would be.
I should probably mute my phone.
Oh god, that's confused me. See you, Funky. God, that confused me so much for a second there. Okay. Land. Okay, so you can get the red block stadium. That's just a lot of small, precise jumps to make those work. That's not too. It's not too bad. And honestly, you'd have to think a little carefully about what actually counted as ground around here. Do all of this. This is all doable. Okay, so for those of you who are just tuning in at the moment, I'm not 100% certain what Vaiski's doing. I'm just running around checking, basically looking at the challenge of can you get between all the worlds, or no, the challenge will be getting between all the worlds, spending the minimum amount of time touching the ground. Now, it's going to require a lot of sort of noting down precisely what counts as ground, because, like, for instance, this terrain. Does this terrain necessarily count as ground? That's a little bit of a difficult call to make, but potentially it's looking like it could actually be a really fun speedrun if you, or not speedrun, really fun challenge if you get the definitions right. So that's what I'm doing at the moment. Vaiski, what are you up to? For those of you who don't know, Vaiski is streaming on his channel, which is Vaiski Macrocosm. There are links to that in the links to his stream in the LU Speedrunning Discord, and links to his channel on which the stream is hosted in the LUCH. If you want to do that, Vaiski, what are you up to?
Yeah, I'm currently trying the Nimbus Station foot race. I'm dying to see. There seems to be a problem that it doesn't let you finish even though you have enough time. It says that you ran out of time in a specific spot always. If you are trying to do it on the same character. So I would have to always restart restart the character or pull the new one. I'm not sure which one it is to try it.
That's
Again.
odd. And that's
Yeah.
a little
But,
bit. Yeah.
I don't know why it happens, but it happens in the exact spot. So if I would have to say why, I'd say it's maybe that the timer doesn't like reset or something.
Yeah.
Probably has something to do with it. It knows your previous record. I'm not sure why. Because
Oh, that's maybe, yeah. Maybe you are always going against previous record. Because yeah, it shouldn't be
yeah,
something that breaks an each. That's interesting though, because if it knows, because your record isn't saved server side. I'm about 100% certain of that. So that would imply the client is somehow saving your record, but that would be a very strange thing for the client to suddenly decide to save.
Yeah, and the thing is that like the last time I tried it was like I think this morning, which would mean it still does the glitch even after I have like turned off the server and turned it back. So it isn't like resetting or turning off the server and turning back on. It would fix it.
Are you sir? Is it the same point regardless of character?
I can try.
Because what I'm wondering
I'm
is maybe it's a thing where just the timer is just counting down from those initial, like, whatever 40 seconds you have and isn't being added to. But I don't know why that would randomly be happening in this particular server version, because, like, that is entirely client side, and I know I've done them myself and seen Encry do them, and it hasn't had this problem, so I don't know. Although maybe I just haven't ever done one of these speedruns more than once. That is also quite possible. Okay. Going to the Forbidden Valley thing, that's pretty doable. Nexus Tower, got to do that, don't I? Where are you? You're over there, aren't you? Race area. Oh, okay, I'm falling. Okay. Just running along these edges. Oh, and for anyone interested, the server, I'm just going to occasionally say this, the server we are currently running is Uchu, which you can find on lusprojects.github.io. And the second I say that, someone just left the stream.
Well then. I think the thing for before your next stream you should maybe think about would be getting like a bot for your chat that people can just like type what's the explanation mark and then server, and it just says that this is running on Uchu. You can find Uchu at just and then the GitHub and stuff like that.
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah, and then if someone like asks popular guest, then you can just like basically have a copy paste answer, as long as like it's a good answer and not just something like no you. It actually can work really good, which was what I was using on Twitch when someone asked like audio settings or something. I could just link ho, and I wouldn't have to like spend the time of 15 minutes every day explaining something.
Yeah. You've got a problem with me just replying with no you? That's more my question.
Well, it's
Vaiski trying to be diplomatic answering this question.
Yeah.
Yes, basically, is the answer he's going for, but he's trying to phrase it nicely to spare my feelings.
To be honest, like I feel like you could, because you know so much of physics, you could just like do a second channel where you just do videos like the physics behind know you, and you can just say like things that are not true, but it sounds legit, which
Yeah.
is enjoyable to watch. A 30-minute video of why something is.
it is impressive how much. Well, I mean, the movie industry makes a killing out of that, but it is impressive how much you can just by adding like one assumption, which isn't too hard to slide past people, how much you can break physics. Physics breaking is good fun, he says, as a firm fan of physics.
There was something about like absolute zero there. The degree out there. Anyway, that movies seem to pretty often. At least they seem to say that we have to go to that specific. Then isn't it like currently impossible to get like specific to the coldest?
Not only is it currently impossible, it requires an infinite amount. Well, with our current knowledge of physics and like, I feel like saying that implies it could change. Like, it would require pretty much everything we've known about physics for the past like 500-600 years to be not just a little bit flawed, not just sort of, hey, Einstein's just invented relativity, flawed, like saying Newton was flawed. Not how flawed Newton was. It would require it to be like everything to be completely wrong. Like if we managed absolute zero, that's equivalent to free energy, basically. If anyone achieves absolute zero, we can get infinite energy out of the universe. If we can get infinite energy out of the universe, there's a theorem called Nutter's theorem, which basically implies, well, effectively mathematically what it states is physics no longer exists. Because if we can get infinite energy out of the universe, Nutter's theorem breaks down, which means that an experiment, if you like, perform an experiment at different times, basically, it's not just the setup of the experiment which makes sense. And physics and like all of science depends on something being repeatable. If you can break conservation of energy, physics is no longer repeatable, and yeah, everything breaks down. So yeah, kids, if you can manage to get absolute zero, tell a physicist, because you have just broken physics. And like science in general, and pretty much the entire way we see the world. Anyway, rant aside, I'm going to go over to probably Gnarled Forest. Or I'm going to go over to whatever 1300 is. I think that's Gnarled Forest. Yeah, this is why you shouldn't get me started talking about physics on stream, Vaiski.
Yeah, I also was gonna say, midway you're talking, you lost. So it was 5, then 6, and now it's back to 5. So I guess someone joined midway you talk about physics.
So it's down to 4 now. Someone left because I stopped talking about physics. Whoever that person is, I like them.
It might be just like they saw on LUCH that, oh, Ninja is streaming speedrunning, let's go check, and he comes here and you are just talking.
And once they find
complicated physics,
they find some, it's me standing there ranting about Nurse's theorem. No, for those of you who've just tuned in, I promise I do LU speedrunning as well. Well, okay, no, not LU speedrunning. I do stuff. Vaiski is the speedrunner. If you want to see someone who's actually good at that sort of thing, check him out. Oh yeah, so that's... Well, okay, so I wonder, maybe it could be something YouTube related, that your timer isn't working properly, because I know I was talking with Vincent about this relatively recently. For those who are wondering why I'm just standing here, I'm currently loading in Gnarled Forest. I was talking to Vincent recently, and he was looking at the possibility of using that sort of display area and sending messages to that display area from the game. And so I'm wondering if by default it works on the client, but because Vincent's been looking around with that, he's like disabled it or something. Because just because it works by default doesn't mean you couldn't disable it server side, and maybe it's broken on this specific version of Uchi. Because do you know what Encry uses to speedrun?
I think Encry uses also Uchu, but he said he was on. He was on OP Crux when he did the foot race.
Oh, so okay.
So yeah,
I can't believe he's got
also,
you calling it OP Crux. Sorry, keep going.
I kind of forgot the name of it. I was gonna
It's-
say Crux Prime, but then I was like, oh, that's the map now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, the speedrun seems to work now. Or their foot race when I switch characters, but I'm not sure yet. It
no
worked
idea why.
at least once. Now, now it's like the second time, and it also accepted it. But last time it was also I got 2 times, and after that it didn't anymore work.
But if it is something to do with the record you're achieving, then maybe it just depends which was faster than which. When Hugo First of the Venture League in Gnarled Forest tells you that tells you to be careful with the timings of your jumps, that is just Vaiski just hears. That's me all the time. That is just speed running.
I go to Gnarled Forest. I don't even jump once. I just slide.
Does
Just the whole map. Okay, it happened again. The message now on the third try. That I didn't make it in time.
it let you keep running?
No, the timer on the top middle disappeared. It seemed to go to 1, but I wasn't looking, so I'm gonna check that too.
But does it let you restart the race though? Because I mean, I suppose that's what I'm most interested in. Because if
I'm thinking, could it be that maybe after you have run the race once, it like some of the checkpoints don't give you any more time anymore, so you just have too little time to actually be able to like go. I can't explain it, but I feel like that's what just happened, so I'm looking at my time.
Maybe.
It is stuck, but when I got the message that I didn't have time, it did turn into 0. So I'm thinking if there's something here. Yeah, it is in 30, and then it just automatically changes to 0 and stays in 0 for like 2-3 seconds before it shows that you didn't get it in time. So I don't have a clue why that's. Because if it does happen twice, or you can do it twice without anything, after that it doesn't anymore. So I think it's maybe something that it doesn't reset something after you finish the run. Maybe. And then when you try it again, it still like thinks about the same at the first run in something about the first trial still.
Maybe, yeah. I don't know enough about the mechanics to be any use on that, I'm afraid.
Yeah. I'm actually gonna try the touch the ground as little as possible too now. Sound watching you do it looked pretty interesting.
I'm just okay. Can you see my my standing still on stream at the moment? Can you see?
You are still looking a bit more left.
I'm.
Okay, now you are still, I think.
Yeah. Okay. So the challenge is so you have to jump to this spot from a previous like hill or from a previous rock, and I'm wondering. Technically, no, I'm not wondering. I know it's possible. Technically, it's possible to hit this ledge and to get slip speed. And I've just okay. Well, no one saw that. And I've just technically it's possible to get slip speed from that ledge. So that would just be the hardest thing ever. But it's something I really want to see people do. Oh, actually, something really interesting you could abuse with this is respawns. And if you could try, because according to Vincent, where the client wants you to respawn, although I think you can override it on the server, where the client wants you to respawn is set entirely client side. And I don't know if how it works by default, but that may mean you could actually smash yourself cleverly to like get to places you want to go. Like I don't know if you've ever if back when I think it was the guy called Summoning Salt started releasing speedrunning videos about Mario, one of the glitches. Didn't think that would happen. One of the glitches he mentioned on his videos is when you muck with the warp pipes, and muck with which warp pipe sends you where. And I'm thinking you could probably do a similar thing to that in Lego Universe, but with deaths.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like something. It sounds like something that would happen like on our old game as a glitch. That when you die, you teleport to a future checkpoint, like which is on forward. Yeah. So
Wait a second. Wait a second. Where I wonder where you respawn if you die on the monument. I'm sure.
I think it's. Oh yeah, I know. It's just at the beginning. At the.
But I wonder. I wonder
Because
where. I wonder where the cutoffs are. Because
I don't know.
Because there's going to be some respawn point past the monument, and I mean technically, all you need to do is land on the road somewhere. I wonder if there's actually any place. Technically, this wouldn't be doable in any speedrun mode, on any server, so it wouldn't count as part of the speedrun. But you technically can, like on certain servers like Uchu, etc., you'd be able to, if you get yourself into the right position and smash yourself, you could probably get yourself some extra maybe get yourself some extra time, if depending on where the cutoff regions are and how long it takes to smash and rebuild. The only issue is, yes, smashing and rebuilding is server side. Oh, you want the true pro move? It's possible to jump off of enemies.
Oh yeah, that reminds me that I was gonna say at some point that I got a really nice idea for a mod for Uchu, which would me that I think it's possible with Uchu coding with that when you jump on top of an enemy, they would like get killed, basically like Mario rules. Because I don't know, it sounded hilarious to me. And I was thinking, would that be possible in Uchu to basically silver knowing when you are on top of an enemy and like destroy it, or would that be something like blocking that?
That would be pretty difficult, because like the automatic way you'd sort of think about coding that is you'd want some sort of physics thing, you'd want to check on collision. The only issue is collisions are one of the parts, like that would be a part of physics that's handled server side, and so you'd have to have an entire physics engine server side, which Uchu doesn't have. Now, that's not the only way you could do it. You could check, you could, in a slightly more hacky way, check whether or not the player is in a certain region above an enemy. And then you could write a mod that does that. If a player's in a certain region above an enemy, smash them. That would actually be quite an easy mod to write.
The way I was thinking of it, that it would do something like whenever the player jumps, it would turn check if there's like an enemy under the player turn. But I don't know if that's possible.
Running a script on jump would be harder than just constantly running it. And also it would be less Mario accurate, because on Mario, if you're falling, you can smash them even if you haven't jumped. So I think just going for... Yeah, it's definitely doable as a mod. That'd be relatively, dare I say, simple, I think, to program. I might do that at some point. if you remind me, and because I don't know, it's quite unlike most of the things I try and program, which are games, etc. In there, it's just a single standalone feature that you could just turn on and off. That would definitely be doable.
Okay, because I was thinking like of small things that you could possibly add to Uchi that could like change the experience to a lot different one. And one other thing that I was thinking of was that would it be possible to like make the game first person? Because I know it's possible if you like are towards a wall, really close to it, you can.
And you're thinking, what if you could? Yeah.
Yeah.
Camera position is client side. I don't know if there's a good. No. Sorry, that's a lie. Before someone corrects me on it, that is a lie. But like, I'm pretty certain if you want to access the precise angle a player's camera is at, I don't think there's a way of doing that from the server. However, or not without some pretty intense server modding. However, that doesn't mean it's impossible. I'm trying to work out where I'm actually trying to get to in Null Forest right now for this challenge. But that doesn't mean it's impossible, because what you could do, well, there are different camera modes in Lego Universe by default. So whilst you couldn't just like, I don't know, maybe you could just make an invisible box around the player, which forces the camera into first person, but that would be buggy and glitchy and would look awful. I mean, it could be possible, but it wouldn't be. I don't know precisely how a use camera works when interacting with invisible objects, but it might be doable. But an easier way of doing that, or something with it, there are different camera modes you can access in LU, and I wonder if you could just use one of those. So there is like a free cam mode. I know the devs experiment with on quite a regular basis. So I don't know if there'd be a first-person camera like that you could mess with, but that would be how I think of doing it.
Because I was just thinking about basically the way I think about mods currently is I want to think of ways to basically make basically for like your videos you have the background video basically most of the time just being avant-gardens, and like I'm pretty sure some people are like pretty done with just looking basically the same stuff.
That is.
So maybe just a slight change, like you can kill enemies by jumping on them, or it's from first person, could like make it again like a new experience.
I mean, honestly, I should just go different places. Like, I could just go to Gnarled Forest, and that would. I know what you mean. I know what you mean, definitely.
Yeah.
I'm thinking it probably would be easier to just go other places than to write a mod for the background of episodes. But that doesn't mean it's not an interesting. It wouldn't be interesting to take a look at writing some mods and maybe doing episodes on it, because I do still want to do an episode explaining modding and writing a simple mod, because I've now written that episode. I've now done that episode at least 2 or 3 times. Last time it was going brilliantly. Then my girlfriend and I broke up halfway through it. That was so. I've got on my computer just like a load of files that's just okay. I need to. I've just got a message, and then just the things get shorter and shorter as she was an orchestra whilst we were having the conversation, and they just get slightly shorter and shorter times between each episode, and it gets worse and worse until the episode just ends utterly. It seems my scripting with Uchi thing is destined never to work out. I've got like 4 folders for all my different attempts at writing that video or doing that video.
Okay, so that actually a bit back you said just you should just like go to other worlds. Is there a reason why you have basically just stayed in avant gardens? If it is it just like that avant gardens is the like most working, or is there something
Um,
like
It's because like the majority of stuff we can do is still terrain based, and the monument is the most interesting piece of terrain I can think of. So you would have like Forbidden Valley. Forbidden Valley, that's got some very interesting terrain. The only issue is that in order to do anything with Forbidden Valley, you need, or in order to get anywhere without just flying everywhere, you need to have phantom physics implemented, which YouTube doesn't have. LCDR does have that, but on LCDR, I can't get to Forbidden Valley. So it's a bit of a catch-22. Basically, I end up being unable to do it. But that's the reason why I've not. That's the reason why I primarily use that one thing. Okay, I'm going to reload Uchi now. I don't think I need to recompile it.
Yeah, you said about the what was it? About the monument like terrain being really interesting. But I actually have to kind of disagree with that. I feel like the monument does have some terrain, but like currently I have been doing different styles of like slopes in the Nimbus Station middle part, and it does look a bit more interesting, I think, than in Monument, looking at just the same thing.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I don't know. I just think I like it because it's got that aspect of I have to think about like height, and I don't really have to think about height for like, or not in the same way. Like you can't ever get. There are no sort of overhangs in Nimbus Station other than technically like the vendor booths and some of the trees. Like you can't really do interesting things with those necessarily. I know what you mean. Yeah, it's not necessarily as easy to speedrun assembly every time, Daniel Cunningham. It's not even a question for like a second. It's assembly. How about you, Vaiski? Favorite faction?
This is
there is a correct answer, and the correct answer is assembly.
The thing is, I never had when the game was like game was live. I never had an assembly. And
fair.
I don't know if assembly is kind of my style. The abilities.
No, that's a very good point. Like when I say assembly, I just always say it because like that's just sort of who I am as a physicist. It's definitely not the best faction if you want to go like DPS or something. I definitely agree with you there. There are definitely better factions for gameplay.
Thing, like as a kid, I liked really much like assembly as like the idea as I think it was cool, and still I think it's pretty cool idea for a faction that like they pull something instead of like fighting themselves. But the gameplay wasn't then and wasn't not now like the type. If I would have to think, like I think I would be the guy now who would pick Venture League just
Venture. Oh, interesting.
They
Daniel was judging you strongly from his Paradox fandom. Not that he wasn't judging me, I'm sure.
As a kid, I also liked Paradox, but I stopped liking them when I got stuck at the Paradox Nexus tower base, because there were teleporters and I didn't know how they work, so I got stuck with my character, and I pretty much just reset the minifig. So, and
brilliant.
I still have to remember, don't pick Paradox. They look cool, but don't do it. You will get stuck again.
Don't you need to go to some Paradox areas for other faction missions? I don't remember. Maybe you don't.
Well, you don't have to go to them if you can't understand the missions and you just run around.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. I was going to say, because you definitely need to do at least one mission for Vander. But yeah, if you're just running around, fair enough.
Yeah.
It's always good when my character's sending out a ton of warnings to the main server. For those of you wondering why I'm just standing here, I'm currently trying to load in Forbidden Valley, and it's... I can't tell whether or not I've broken Uchu. At this stage, it's just... I sort of assume I've broken it most of the time, even when I haven't. Because it's sort of a fair bet. Yeah, one thing that I am actually quite interested is because recently I've started looking a little bit at the Super Mario Maker 2 community.
Yeah.
I've sort of been getting into that. I know some people have seen me on discussing the Beast on the LCDRU Discord. And one thing that I quite like is they've got this entire sort of part of like Super Mario Maker and presumably just Mario levels in general because they do ROM hacks and everything. That's sort of this idea of a Kaizo level. What I really want are like Happy Flower Kaizo. I want people to, because at some point I hope we're going to get that, the point where people are making just like really challenging speedrun levels in Happy Flower. I think that would be so cool.
Yeah, that's actually still one of the projects that I have to start. Is the get Happy Flower working, but I've been having a bit problems with it. So, but when I do get it up, I will make one. The original plan was to like basically copy paste the avant-garden's jumps a lot, and then look how they would do it. They were like in a combo, and after I like understand how different jumps work with each other, I could basically make like a parkour, like a B-hop style parkour map.
Yeah.
So you have to slide, but yeah, it's I can't really tell that if I don't have Happy Flower working yet.
Yeah, I another thing with... Oh, great, I'm getting more errors. Another thing that sort of is... I promise you, I'm just saying, I promise you we are loading into Forbidden Valley, it's just taking ages. You know, the other thing is, though, like, I don't know what Happy Flower actually does, because here's the thing. The terrain you see around you, as well as you know more than most people, because the amount of time you spent on the monument, the terrain is not the same as the physics file. And so there's sort of a question of, I don't know how easy it would be to design a physics file. Or to design terrain, given that the physics file won't be precisely the same as the terrain. Then yeah, I don't know how that's going to work. Hello! We seem to be moving to Forbidden Valley, finally! Woo! Daniel Cunningham, fan of the Paradox faction. You will like this, because you know it's Forbidden Valley. And Paradox be a thing.
What was your favorite map when the game was live, or even now?
I'll extend that to chat as well. I mean, by chat, I think there are by chat, it's pretty much just Daniel, I think. Because you're one of the people watching me. I think I'm technically one of the people watching me. Because I've got it open so I can see chat. So I think it may just be our friend Daniel.
Actually, one thing is that I'm not sure if it's the same on YouTube, but on Twitch is that if you are watching a stream with 0 audio, then it doesn't count as a viewer, at least on Twitch.
Oh.
Which would mean like...
I mean, if someone's
watching without audio, YouTube doesn't count then as watching you, basically.
I mean...
So it might be that there might be like 27 people actually watching.
Yeah,
they also have muted.
If they're watching and have it muted, they are bored out of their skulls, right? I mean, probably if you're watching and it isn't muted, you're bored out of your skulls. But, let's see if we can find a good way of getting past this without... Wait.
Yeah, but anyway, back to the guest and what's your favorite map now? Or
favorite map?
When the game was live, all about.
When the game was live, not Forbidden Valley, Crux Prime. Definitely Crux Prime, because I didn't realise Crux Prime existed for ages. I spent ages, no idea it existed. Leveled up my character relatively decently, just using like Forbidden Valley, etc. Then I found out Crux Prime existed, and I got so much free experience from Crux Prime, because everywhere you go in Crux Prime, you get an achievement. And I like leveled up like 2 or 3 levels in like a few minutes just by walking around Crux Prime. And also that was where I spent all my time. It's a cliched answer, I know, but it's true. Yeah, Crux Prime, probably favourite place. Now I don't know. Because I don't know, maybe I can't really judge because like I've spent so much time in Avant Gardens. Do I is that really my favorite, or is it just that Avant Gardens is it just that I've spent the most time there. I feel like I quite like Forbidden Valley because they make so much use out of the phantom physics that I really like. I don't know. I like the parts which have. Oh god, that if you had to try and make that jump in the proper challenge in life, that'd be so hard. I feel like I like the maps that have like the more interesting, something different to them. So like Frostburg, I like Frostburg because that has stuff like falling snow, etc. And yeah, that makes it good fun. And ice physics as well. Ice physics is good. Big fan of the Ninjago areas, actually. Quite like them, because they've got lots of different stuff thrown in there, because they were quite late in the game, and so they had all the tools they needed. How about you?
When the game was live, I think it would have been Forbidden Valley, but I got to play it for only like 1 month at the end, because mostly I was playing on free.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's just I like the feeling of Forbidden Valley. It feels a lot more dark and like I can't explain, but like it
I
has a
know what you
different
mean.
feeling. For example, the Avant Gardens, but I did be on Avant Gardens a lot, and like now I think it kind of has to be Avant Gardens.
You're not Avant Gardens. You are the Monuments. The Monument is your favourite world. Whether you like it or not, it is your world now.
Yeah, but still I like Forbidden Valley, but yeah, it's now behind the Monumental Avant Gardens.
Yeah.
Basically same, but they kind of switched places. I also personally spent time on the Ninjago world, but when you can't proceed on any of the missions, it kind of gets boring.
Yeah.
Kind of seeing everyone else having out golden weapons and stuff, and tell I'm with my basic spear. So
was it? Wait, is that another case of like you didn't realize that Ninjago weapons were a thing, or you couldn't work out how to get them?
I didn't have money for them.
Yeah.
I remember grinding for the Skutse on the Avant Gardens like week, because I always like killed 1 strongling, died, killed 2 stronglings, died again. So I gained like almost no money. And when I got the Skite, I was expecting it to be like really OP because of the time I spent to get it. And then it was just like a little bit better than the spear, so I still remember kind of the disappointment. Yeah, that was I didn't have money for anything, so that also kind of ruined
most
the possibility of enjoying PvP.
Most disappointing thing ever, Wing Reaper. God, that was the worst Valiant I have ever had the misfortune to play. I love the Summoner as a class. But we got the worst Valiant in the entire game. Definitely. By like even those classes that had unimplemented Valiants. Even those classes had better Valiants than we did. Yeah.
So I can't remember what did the Valiant weapon do.
So the Valiant weapons were the 250,000 coins, 250 faction tokens.
Okay, so what was the what did the Valiant weapon do that you were talking about?
So the
I don't know.
So the Wing Reaper, so they're the two-handed weapons. So the Wing Reaper, what that did was it basically, it had all the Valiant weapons had, I want to say either a 3-3-3 or a 3-3-4 attack. Maybe that's wrong. Maybe it was just 2-3-3, but I don't think so. I think the rank 3 weapons had a 2-3-3 attack. I think Valiants were 3-3-3 or 3-3-4. I want to say 3-3-4. Anyway, that aside, so all the Valiant weapons had that as standard, other than the Wormholer, which had a single attack of 5. And maybe one of the Venture League weapons, because I know one of the Venture League weapons was the only weapon, non-Valiant weapons was the only weapon in the game that had 4 successive attacks. But anyway, yeah, the Wing Reaper, it lets you spawn in its charge up. I don't remember what its charge up was. I think its charge up was just you attack things around you. And its ability was you spawn in 3 owls to help you fight. Now, I like owls as much as the next guy, but they don't help you fight. Certainly not 3 of them. 3 of them with 3 health each, so that pretty much instantly they just get killed off by whatever it is you're attacking. They are the least useful thing ever in that regard. Because, yeah, they just...
That really makes... That sounds like they could have made it a lot better.
Yeah.
Like,
well,
I still have the same feeling. Like,
yeah.
the first idea I got was instead of like 3 of them, it could have been like that just comes a storm of them, and they basically just one-shot the enemy, but it's like 1 use and something like that.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
That
So
would have been.
I suppose you could have like you could probably. I wonder if you could just up the number and just make it like 10 of them appear, because 10 of them will be reasonably powerful. A single enemy with an area of effect attack could take them all out, but if they were working against an enemy that didn't have an AoE, they'd be pretty powerful. I think that would be a decent idea.
Because I was thinking, I don't know what's the name of the item, but I remember when we ever had PvP, Yumi and Vincent. Vincent had the phone, I think. The telephone thing that calls the piano.
Oh no, that was me. That was me and my piano.
Yeah.
I love the piano.
Yeah.
Mr. Ree.
Yeah, but basically, if that could just be reskinned as like a bunch of owls, it would basically do the same. Just like
I get what you mean.
Going down, yeah.
I love that mental image, but yeah, I know what you mean. That could be pretty cool. Yeah. Yeah, it just felt... I remember grinding for it for ages. Meanwhile, the Serratorizer, which was the Engineer's Valiant, that was brilliant. That had... you could one-shot a Spiderling with its charge up. So, charge up, you're talking a couple of imagination to use, right? But you can just get as many Spiderlings as you can tank the damage from. And then release the charge up. It does an area of effect spin, which kills all of them in 1 hit. And you easily make back any armor, any imagination you've lost. So it's perfectly sustainable. And yeah, it's a very, very decent weapon. And I was just I never really wanted to use its other ability, which was just you spawn a quick build, because for engineers, I'm sure it would have been fine, but I was a summoner, primarily as my main, and so I wasn't really used to having anything that I placed down to having to build it, because I was just like, well, I can just spawn my Thwok. I don't have to build my Thwok. Oh, you can go here? I did not know this. That is very cool.
Not your stream. Whoa.
Yeah, I didn't know you could do that. I'm going to fall off in a second. I don't think it will let me get back up, but I didn't realise this was actually a standable spot. Rip me. I'm just bouncing off of the things on the way back down. Yeah, so I never really used its other attack, but just that charge up made it so much more worthwhile than anything else. But I must say I did like the summoner rank 3 shoulder pads ability compared to the engineer rank 3 shoulder pads. They both did exactly the same amount of damage. They did it in slightly different intervals, but the summoner's one did it in all directions, whereas the other one did it in only 180 degrees. What you guys been doing? I just managed to fall off of Forbidden Valley and then unfall off of Forbidden Valley, which was quite cool. Unfall off being land.
A new comment on stream.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying to Funky. Yeah. What have we been doing? I've been continually exploring worlds. Honestly, I feel like in terms of in looking on the sort of jump challenge, the jump challenge is a lot harder to do on other worlds than it was in Avant Gardens. I don't know if all these other worlds are just bigger or they've got more stuff. Forbidden Valley, the best thing you have are the candles. Those are genuinely your biggest advantage because the candles are everywhere, which is the reason why Forbidden Valley takes so long to load in, and they work. And because they're everywhere, they're not part of the ground. They're reasonably difficult to land on, and so they do make quite an interesting challenge. I want to try though, seeing how much of the tree is actually climbable now after I found that other climbable bit. Because that actually looks like quite an interesting question. Because maybe if we allow parts of the tree but not parts of rock, the Forbidden Valley challenge could actually be really interesting. I mean, I suppose it's sort of a moot point because Forbidden Valley isn't doable on all servers. So I don't know why I'm looking at it, but it's interesting. Turn fly off. But yeah, so I suppose the next fly off. I swear. Yeah, I suppose the next. It's just server lag. Yeah, okay. So I suppose the next challenge would be, or the question would be, where do we go next? Or what do we actually define as this challenge? Because honestly, gnarled forest and sorry, when I say questions like this is open to everyone, like comments. I'm not just saying this to Vaiski. But so the thing is, Avant Gardens, that's really interesting in my opinion and quite good fun to try and get around without touching the ground. Venture Explorer, that's good fun as well. That requires a decent amount of precision. Then I don't know, Gnarled Forest and Forbidden Valley just don't seem to have. They've got far more open. Get lost. I don't like you, Funky. Sorry, to clarify to everyone, when I say Funky, I'm referring to Mr. Ree, because Mr. Ree is Funky Ugaman. Yeah. No, we're not doing Portobello. I don't care how good Portobello is, because generally Portobello, I'm just thinking from the mental image I have, it might actually be reasonable for Don't Touch the Ground, because I think there are lots of models lying around. But still, no matter how good it is, that's the easiest way to have everyone like, oh yeah, it's not a real speed run. It's to have people do it on Portobello. But yeah, so that's the thing. Like, Forbidden Valley doesn't feel that interesting because, like, I'm jumping on these rocks. Do these rocks count as terrain? Honestly, it doesn't really matter because there's no real challenge to jumping on them. There are challenges to jumping on like areas where there are candles, etc. That's relatively interesting. But yeah, I don't. So you could potentially just do. The challenge could just be minimum amount of time to, on a complete server, smash minimum amount of time spent on the ground in a run which either A, smashes Butterscotch if you're on a complete server, which obviously we can't do for now, or B, minimum amount of time to reach Butterscotch. The point being that you wouldn't necessarily have to go like through Gnarled Forest and Forbidden Valley to do those. And I don't know. It's a question of... I feel like there's so much room for optimization in that, though. And I feel like that would be a really, really interesting challenge. But the question is, how do you balance it to keep it fun? Because I don't feel like there's a huge amount of challenge in doing it in Forbidden Valley. But it's very much up to people's opinion. I'd put it to a vote or something. That was interesting loading animation you just had on there, Vaiski. As you came in, stuff was clipping it out of existence.
I didn't know this, so I think I got used to it now.
Oh yeah, it is. There are always some dubious loading animations from Uchu.
I'm gonna actually try to do the same glitch that happened to me yesterday when I was trying the Khalid Kalali using.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, you do need to go through Nexus Tower to get to Crux Prime. There's no other way of... Oh, no, you technically... I think you may be able to get there via Lego Club. I don't remember for a fact, but maybe you could get there via Lego Club, which would mean your route would... You'd still have to go Nimbus Station, but you'd do Lego Club instead of Nexus Tower. I don't know if that's any better. I don't know. I don't know anything, honestly. I don't know why I've been doing this channel. Because I know very little for someone who runs a channel that's meant to be informational. I think I'm going to go World 1500, which I think may be Crux.
Wait. Do the toilets work in... The toilets seem to work in Avant Gardens. They didn't shoot me, but they shot the...
I don't want to go to Starbase. Turrets, so I think turrets should be working at the moment, because I know Epsilon has been able to, hasn't been attacking the player, and has been attacking Stromlings as of the version I'm playing in, and turrets working should, it's exactly the same mechanic as Epsilon working. So, okay. Yeah, if turrets work. Yeah. Depends if they have railings. That's a good point. Because Nexus Tower doesn't. Funky. It's a very good point. Lego Club might. Yeah, sorry, Vaiski?
Yeah, it was just... wait, now I forgot what I was going to say. Yeah, it was just the first time there was a Strongling close enough to tell that it attacked it. So I hadn't seen it, never. So I was just thinking if it has just been added or has it been a long while.
Yeah, I'm pretty certain. Yeah, as Funky says, I'm pretty certain that faction calculations are now part of that. Winston has implemented those, which I'm not too surprised about. Like, they're not. I don't want to say they're not the hardest to implement, because obviously I've never implemented them, but I know they're like on there in JList, etc. So relative to other things, they are achievable. So I'm not too surprised Winston added them. Okay, the question is, what is the zone ID for the Lego Club? Because I can check that out now. Because that's a very, very good point. Funky. And yes, I am still going to TurtleUniServer.com when I need to get my world IDs. I know. I am a disgusting human being who should be killed. Should be smashed with the wormholer. Lego Club 17. Can also close down the servers I'm not using. So I'm not in World 2000 and 20,002 or 20,001. Okay, we've got ourselves Lego Club loading in. Let's see that, because Lego Club I can see Lego Club having a decent number of railings. Oh, Lego Club also has the zero gravity area. Oh, that'll be brilliant. I mean, okay, the issue is you wouldn't be able to do the zero gravity in live or until a complete server. But if you did have a complete server, okay, where's this one from? Interact with the gateway to travel to the Lego Club. I'm already in the Lego Club. Yeah, I don't know if Lego Club can get you to Crux Prime. I know it can get you to lots of places. Although I'm only seeing 3 things here, so that doesn't look too promising. Maybe it can't get you to Crux Prime. That's a shame if it can't. Where does this jump pad get you? Don't remember this. That's mean. It gets you to miss the backpack flag. Okay, so you could get down those railings fairly easily. You could probably double jump from if you got some slide speed off of those railings. You could double jump over to this. You climb up here. I'm being sloppy, but you definitely can climb up these because I've done it quite a few times on this stream already. Yeah, let's. There. I promise I'm a competent human being. Promise. There we are. You can definitely get slide speed off of these, enough to get to the rails. Let's pretend I just managed that. Should be able to get to here or here. Get slide speed off of this. See where this takes. I mean, this is all very much a moot point if you can't actually make it to. There's not much you can do here. You can just jump up and get the lads on those, and you can't. Okay, so where's the shortest place you can go to? But yeah, this is a moot point if we can't actually get to Crux Prime from here. Ah, okay. Yeah, in that case, that would make sense, Funky. Yeah. Yeah, it's not. Basically, yeah, it's not looking good. Yeah, okay. So, I mean, it makes a very nice way to get to Gnarled Forest. And one alternative version to the 100% speedrun, or it's not the 100% speedrun, it's like the any percent speedrun, where you just have to like get to Butterscorch, etc., would be a version where you had to get to all the named enemies. And so maybe you could use Lego Club as a hub for that. Because potentially, I feel Lego Club you might be able to traverse in less time or with less time spent on the ground than Nimbus Station maybe. But it very much depends on our definition of ground. I feel that's something we'll have to work on, like as a community, etc. What actually counts as the ground in these things. And there'll be like different people disagreeing on what counts as grounds. Yeah. I suppose that another question, if we're going to actually do this in reality, if you were to actually do this in reality in a more complete server, is getting the items, etc. You're going to have to. I keep saying more complete server, but we could have this doable in Uchu. We could just run this in Uchu because Butterscorch. At least one of her attacks works. And so you could actually do like obtaining the weapons. I know most of her attacks don't work, but at some point maybe one day they will. And that's a lot closer in the future than us having a complete game. Have I done any testing with the Witch's Surf Broom? I have, and there was no good news. It appears to be a slightly different attack, but I'm pretty certain it just implements the same charge mechanism as everything else. So we don't have any extra luck there. Oh, here's a good question. Does out of bounds ground count as ground? I mean, the good answer should be yes, but... it'd be a much less of a challenge if it didn't. But yeah, I haven't had... Yeah, there's been no hugely interesting testing with the Witch's Surf Broom. Okay, yeah, so Crux Prime you can then only get to from Nexus Tower. So, it makes sense to go to Nexus Tower next. Or I'll go to Crux Prime. Since seems where I'm going. Is it not an even longer charge? I don't think so, but it doesn't make that much difference as to whether or not it's a longer charge because the charge is full. You don't fly whilst you're charging, and you can't jump whilst you're charging. So it doesn't make a huge amount of difference how long the charge actually is, unless you've got significant height. But trying to get significant height in this speed run is equivalent to just climbing the monument. And once you've climbed the monument, you can pretty much make a running jump anyway. The second you finish using the item, you stop. It's sort of your momentum gets cancelled. It's sort of similar to the double jump attack. So I can see definitely there being scenarios where it would come in useful, and where you could probably perform some clever stuff, like if we start getting like player-made really difficult levels, that would be I could definitely see you putting it to use in that. But I don't know we could get it outside of those. I can't come up with a good use case there. I know charge ups work in sort of groups. I wonder if there's where like you can't. So to try and avoid people stacking things, they made it so that every item you can use is part of a certain recharge group, and you can't use other items from the same recharge group whilst one thing's recharging. So I'm wondering, closer it's loading. Oh, well, we are still loading. That's always good. And yeah, I'm wondering if maybe you could find some things that were put in incorrect recharge groups, but which, like, if it feels that would be plausible as something that could have happened in development, other than the fact that it's quite difficult, that the way they implemented new enemies, or new items, new attacks, they mostly just copied over from old things. So I'd assume if it was configured for one thing, it'd be configured the same for all of them. So you'd be unlikely to find something that was put in the incorrect category. So yeah, I honestly think in terms of, I'm pretty certain there's nothing that can increase your jump height. Unless maybe maybe you could get lucky and maybe something, some of the spawnable stuff, maybe you could stand on that. If some of the spawnable stuff you could stand on, then maybe you could do something. Okay, I'm assuming Woolus doesn't have buying items. But you could definitely do a pretty interesting no touching the ground challenge on Uchu. And have it actually be reasonably effective. Like have forcing people to, at the very least, collect a certain set of items for attacking the Spider Queen. Not the Spider Queen. It's not the Spider Queen. No, not the boss of Crux Prime. Can you stand on the engineer buildable turret? I don't know. That was what I was just wondering. If I can find the ID, I can double check that. Find out the answer to that. So give me a second. Info objects. I still haven't downloaded SQLite DB browser onto this computer. Okay, what do I want to find? I want to find just engineer. Because actually, if you can stand on anything like that, I'm almost 100% certain you could walk through your Bulper and your Thwok. But I wonder if you could. I wonder if there's anything that changes your physical hitbox, or if things are just spawned around you. I'm assuming nothing changes your hitbox. Anyway, engineer. I don't remember which engineer item it was that I would have given you this, but let's just see. Does it give?
You just earned a weapon.
I just earned a weapon.
In your backpack.
Let's see, what does this let me do? Deploy turret. But I don't have enough imagination. I was right. Need 1 imagination to build it. Right, I gotta get the 1 imagination before it despawns. If it's a quick build, that bodes. It bade well. It did not end well. Okay, so no, you can't. You can't seem to jump on those. I'm quite enjoying the sniping through rocks action. I really hope they're actually... Oh, it's not hitting it, that's a shame. Level 3 turret might be too... Oh, are you just saying too big to get onto the top? I mean, I can walk through it. So it's not plausible. I suppose technically the horse mount, although that wasn't obtainable in the game. This is the first time I haven't done something I know of to crash the game. My Ethernet cable is still connected. This is the most important thing I have to check. It's letting me back in. Fine. Did I just crash the Crux Prime server? It says I disconnected. I don't think I did. Alright, well, that's a relogging of Uchu, then, I believe. I've gotten significantly faster at that during today. Connection to world server lost, indeed. Anyway, I think the stream's coming to an end in about 15 minutes. So, rip us. Did you know that actually Vaiski and I cease to exist when you stop watching our streams? I don't exist outside of when I'm recording a video or streaming. Yeah. And Vaiski actually does, but he only exists to play the monuments. He can't exist any other time or place. Yeah, which is why when his server crashes, it's always a little concerning, because he just disappears from existence. His family don't know where he's gone.
I was gonna say that I'm not actually sure if I need to end the stream yet, so if you don't have anything, we can continue.
I'm going to have to, sorry.
Okay, then sure.
Yeah, I need to, because I've got jobs I need to do. I don't have a job, but I do have jobs to do, which is sad and annoying. But yeah. Okay, loading Crux Prime. Woo. Sentinel Guard. Is Geoff pronounced Jeff, or like? Because I mean that's how we pronounce, or Joff. Because that's the same phoneme as we get as gives us George. I'm just watching the Uchu just scroll through everything it's loading. And the skeleton growl speakers. Quick builds. There's the death plane, which is all you've got to love the death plane. Dropship, shield generators, quick builds, lots of flowers, frozen Crux Prime rocket. Oh, that's the thing that. Yeah, okay. That's something. I wasn't certain, Funky. Thanks. Yeah, that's something I'm uncertain about. is canonically something going on with time in Crux Prime. Because you do have things which should be moving, which appear to be standing still in time. And yet you also have things that aren't. Like, I would be willing to believe that technically the Architect does have enough power to mess with time, because sort of canonically he has lots of power. But there definitely are things that appear to not be moving, which should be. And the thing that makes me think about that is I was just watching all the objects that were being loaded, and one of them was a frozen rocket, and I'm pretty certain there is something frozen in time like that. Okay. Oh, the one thing that I meant to test and I haven't tested yet is the thing that I mentioned right at the beginning of the stream, which is GoldenEye runs off an earlier version of the LU physics engine, and it has quite an active speedrunning community. One of the members of the speedrunning community have noticed that you can do what I think I can't remember what they call it. It's I don't remember the name of it, but it's some sort of like smash jump where if you run it, because you don't have jumping in the game, and if you run at something fast enough, you can actually, if you hit it, it sort of pushes you up on top of the thing, and they can use that for bugs. Could it be a gravity thing? I don't know. This is the bit that I'm thinking about as seeming a little strange. This thingy, I don't. Well, so yeah, all these floating bits I'd be perfectly happy with, but whatever's going on here looks like it's ongoing. Like, that's definitely an explosion because of everything that's, but nothing's actually. I suppose those things are moving out of it, but it's not moving out. And no, they're actually more rotating around, etc. I suppose that, yeah, they could just be a second force going on. Maybe the imagination's trying to put it back together whilst an explosion's trying to push it apart. That would work. And that would mean we're not mucking with time, which would be a lot easier on me. Maybe this is the frozen rocket object. I can't smash it, okay. Okay, so how to get to Butterscorch. Let's do this. Let's see if we can come up with a plausible route. Okay, so yeah, I think genuinely your best bet for making it to Butterscorch on something like Uchu is enemy hopping. Because the thing is, like, admirals, they give you a pretty, as long as you have enough health, the admirals do give you a really good kick when they hit you. I bet you could use stuff like that to actually get reasonable amounts of speed. And like jump off of enemies' heads to prevent you touching the ground for a lot of the time. If you jumped on a Stromling Admiral's head to sort of set it off, then jumped into the... oh, what the...
Okay. You have to set that. You have to tune your Stallion Lab settings.
Yeah, evidently. Goodbye, Funky.
I saw your chat. He wasn't spamming. He just.
Yeah,
like,
he just was the only person who'd spoken for quite a while. Yeah, his last message.
Yeah, and he placed a 4 or 5 sentence message, which I think Stallion Labs thought was spam.
Yeah.
So.
I really need to tune that. His last message was, I always just presumed that the Maelstrom messed up gravity in some unexplained way across the whole of LU. Crux is just stronger in Maelstrom, but also more fractured. Yeah, I mean, that definitely works for all of this, and like canonically that is perfectly correct. I was just wondering about these exploding spaceships, but if the Maelstrom's attacking them, then it's going to be some sort of then they must be imagination vessels. And if they're imagination vessels, then it makes sense you'd have you would build, as an engineer, you would build imagination to try and in such ways to hold your ships together, because like that gives you a little margin for error. So okay, so if you came this way around, you have a reasonable number of these. You can do things like get speed off of this one, or get slope speed off of this one. But maybe there's a better way of coming around here, because I feel like trying to get speed off of the enemies, that would be pretty difficult. One of the things we also need to work out at some point as a community is how we verify speedruns. Because so far, I know everyone who's posted a speedrun. I can sort of be fairly certain none of them would cheat. I can look over the videos, I can see things like that. But we don't have any way of sort of recording the inputs people make, or recording server state at any point in time. So it's quite hard to verify.
There actually is a plugin for OBS that shows what keys you press. But on the server side, that wouldn't be like working on until we could maybe get like a public server or something where everyone could speedrun.
We could definitely write a Nuchu script that records that somehow. That would be plausible.
Yeah.
If not necessarily easy. This is only possible for this only plausible jump off the Quixocle. And Quixocle isn't obtainable. So this method isn't plausible. Stop! Stop floating and sniping me. It's not fair. I can't fly. Yeah, I'm slightly surprised Streamlabs treats consecutive messages. Just flying over.
I think you have to think about it in the case like if someone spams like 200 200 character messages a lot, it deletes all of them and not just one.
Yeah.
And I think it also like mutes the person for like 30 to 60 seconds.
Yeah, or in this instance, we just muted him for 1 second. I didn't actually know this place existed. That's interesting. That's like a outbounds place. I knew like the other side over there existed. Wait. Where does this bouncer take you? Why? Whoa, okay, so I've only ever been across the other side of, what is it? It's not Rivendark Canyon. I'm trying to remember the name of the place. It's the place where there was the Maelstrom Temple. Not Maelstrom Temple, the Mithran. The remains of the original Mithran Temple might be on the other side of this chasm. So I've only ever been on the other side of this chasm on stuff like Uni. But there are objects here. There are enemies spawning here, and there are bouncers. I didn't know any of this stuff existed. Very strange.
Oh, you just got a sub.
Oh!
On your channel.
Hello. I was trying to work out what that noise was. I thought that was your phone again. I was very confused.
Oh. Yeah, that's the alert box that you seem to have.
Yeah, I did put that up. Did it pop up somewhere on the stream?
Yeah.
I don't know if it... Okay.
Just a tip, if you want a better one, you should do it, show that it shows in the background, for example, the hello everybody thing or something like that, which might be interesting.
Oh yeah, speaking of which, I don't know, there's meant to be some sort of system of loyalty points on here. I don't know if those are given out automatically over time, but you can spend, I think 10 of them it is, to hear me say hello everyone several times.
let's see. There should be a comment from Streamlabs.
There is.
I haven't used Streamlabs in a long time.
It would be exclamation mark redeem. Hello everyone, which is all one word, capital on the H and capital on the E. I don't.
Trying to see if there should be always like a way to see how many points you do have. Yeah, there you go.
You have 1
I
point.
have 1 point.
Oh, let's see if I can manually up your points. Let's see if I can quickly do that.
Yes, please do. The Streamlabs loyalty system is not the best, but if it works, it's good.
Yeah. Let's say that. But yeah, I genuinely didn't realize this place existed and had stuff here. I've seen people spawn in the temple separately, and like it looks pretty much like this from memory. I didn't know this place actually had stuff in it during live. If you can't tell, I'm really surprised. You can't tell by the fact that my voice increases significantly in pitch. Oh, should be. Oh yeah, okay.
Wait. What? Why does he... Oh, okay.
It should.
Seems like Funky has more points than I do.
It should be spelt like this. I believe. Maybe there should be an exclamation mark. I don't know if I have enough points.
Did you set like a cooldown for this comment?
There is a global. Oh yeah, I didn't spell it right, did I? There's a global cooldown. There's no global cooldown. There is a
Okay. No,
individual. Okay. I can't hear this. Is that audible?
It looks like Funky bought one, so.
Is it audible on the video?
Do you hear anything yet?
I can't hear anything. I promise I will reimburse you, Funky. And I've now turned audio on the video actually on. It did it, I think. Oh yay!
Yeah.
I didn't. It should come up with it should come up with a message somewhere as well. I don't know. I've got to look at setting all this stuff up at some point properly. Today was relatively rushed because I'm incompetent.
It kind of feels that your loyalty system is kind of broken, as like the normal base that people use is 10 points for 10 minutes. Just let you know.
You can't hear it. Yeah, I don't. You should be able to hear it, and a message should come up. I'll look and see what's going on. Yeah, I'll need to work that out at some point. I promise to reimburse you for those points. Okay. So yeah, so I think the conclusion for Crux Prime is the only.
I'm gonna try a few times, a few comments on the Streamlabs bot to see if it has any that most bots have.
Fair. Yeah. Okay.
Because,
so the conclusion for Crux Prime is like it would be possible to go over the like Caldera Mar route. I knew there was a reason I muted this because I'm now going to get noise over there. There would be possible to go over the Caldera Mar route, but that would just take you further than you need to. So I think going this way would be the best way. There are bounces, etc., that could get you places, but enemy hopping, I want to see that because enemy hopping is possible. Definitely would be possible. That would just be a very cool thing to actually see someone do.
Yeah, okay, so I'm just gonna remind that it's like 5 over.
Oh, yes, it is. Now. I was wondering, I figured we need to wrap it up at some point. Okay, well, I think, okay, I don't know, this stream, I'm relatively pleased that we've got potentially an extra run out of this stream. I'm quite happy with that.
Yeah.
Because this seems like quite an interesting run. I think there's lots of room for optimization in it as well, and like completely different routes. So I'm looking forward to that. Yeah. Okay. because presumably I'll at some point make this available on the channel somehow. I don't know. Maybe I will edit some stuff. I don't know how any of this YouTube thing works. But yes, at some point, hopefully this will become available. So when I say thank you for watching, it will be more than just the one person who's watching, which I'm assuming at the moment, is you, Vaiski. So I'm hoping maybe at some point some other people will watch this. If they do, thank you for watching, Vaiski. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for making this possible. As usual, the developer channels aren't in the description this time. Actually, I can't finish on that. No. I'm annoyed. Okay. Yes. Yeah. Bear in mind, I'm not a dev. All of this was done by the developers, who are the people who you should give loads of credit for. So subscribe to the developers. They're on the bottom of literally all of my other videos, and if I remember, they'll be in the bottom of this one as well. With that, thank you for watching. I've been Introvo. This has been Vaiski. Vaiski, you want to say bye? You're going to keep going, but can you say bye to people on mine?
No, I think I'm gonna end too, but go sub to the devs. If there wasn't devs, I couldn't play the monument.
The most important thing.